If you have been playing World of Warcraft Classic Hardcore and find yourself either bored to tears with the class that never dies or raging when your poor character bites dust at the level 6, this video for you. Hello ladies and gentlemen, as we were playing Throne of Liberty for a long time, I kind of get bored with the grind and I decided to go and play some chill game, World of Warcraft Hardcore, the chill game. We're going to break down each class one by one and reveal which one are the safest, which one are the most lethal, and which truly capture the epic fantasy that you have been creating. I have been playing World of Warcraft for over a decade, as all of us, right? But I also have a really good data from Deathlog add-on that shows which classes die the most, where they die, and some of the weirdest ways players get taken out. But let's be honest, you don't just want class which will survive. You play this game for 20 years. You also want a fun class that makes you feel like you're living a legendary story. Come on. We'll count down from 9, the least exciting for thrill seekers, to number 1, the champions of heart-pounding hardcore. For each class, we'll talk about the introduction, like painting, the fantasy, the survivability, the fun factor, and the cool stats if something juicy shows up in the data. Okay, ready to find which class you actually should play in World of Warcraft Hardcore? Right, my name is PLK, please subscribe to the channel, this community is growing super fast, love you guys, let's go! Hunters. Hunters, the iconic Lone Rangers. Bow in hand, beast at your side, and knack of picking off threats before they reach you. From the moment you tame your first pet at level 10, your life becomes noticeably easier. However, until then, you are essentially a squishy range class, relying on the kiting and careful pulls to survive. And the other side problem is when you get your pet at level 10 and you have your tank pet, you start to become invincible, like you feel yourself like that. And then look at the stats, and then you start to fall off. All this does because of players get themselves to the situation when they just can't win. Okay, survivability. Once you get a pet, your survivability skyrockets because it tanks while you shoot from the far. Managing your pet's mood and your armor stash is crucial, or you will find yourself dangerously exposed in the field, like without the arrows. I have been in these places a few times. Yep. Fun factor. Taming beast is a unique thrill, and controlling the fight from the range feels really powerful. This is like lore and fantasy of the hunter in this game is pretty good, at least at Classic. For some hardcore enthusiasts though, it can become too safe and reduce that edge of your seat excitement. Now we have total death of 53,000, about 15.2% of all recorded death. This high proportion indicates hunters are both popular and prone to slip-ups, often before they get their pet or after they become too overconfident. Average death level is 14.5, meaning a lot of them survive past the very early game, but still find surprising ways to die in the mid-teens. The hunters really hate narrow places. Like for instance, little fun fact, for some reason from all of the instances, hunters are dying more in Dire Maul, like look at that, 20% from all other classes. And in Rage Fire Chasm, around 15%. Others are small, like 4 or 5%, but here, from the Lava Man. Warlock. Warlock wields shadowy powers and twist demonic energies to their will. With a Void Walker tank, fear for crowd control, and hard stones for emergency healing, they often feel like unstoppable overlords of the hardcore leveling. Survivability is extremely high. Between your demon companion and fear to keep mobs away, you have tools for nearly every emergency. Be mindful though that the fear can scatter mobs into the new packs, and we saw that a lot of times, which is a quick way to turn Dominion into chaos. Fun factor. So, few classes capture their villainous dark mage vibe like Warlocks. That's super cool. The downside, consistently playing on the easy street can dull the thrill, especially if you never really feel endangered. Let's talk about data. So total death is 32,000, around 9% of total. Warlocks rank lower on the death charts, reflecting their popularity and of course powerful safety net. But average death level is 13.7. As with the hunters, they're typically stable until someone gets reckless with multi-pulls or resists. Like for instance, 500 plus warlocks have died at the hands of the Cobalt miners, likely from overconfidence, assuming the Void Walker can handle endless pickaxes. I don't know. The Paladin. Paladin stands as a holy knight, armed with a plate armor, healing abilities, and game-changing spells like Divine Shield or Lay on Hands. They are the personification of unwavering faith and resilience. Survivability. Few can match the Paladin's tankiness. Bubble can shrug off a little situation, and Lay on Hands is a full heal in a pinch. Though their damage can be slow. That's the offset by their near invulnerability in many scenarios. Perfect if you love the Chivalrous Crusader archetype and prefer the safer approach. May feel too on rails for those wanting sit on your pants danger. Total death 22,000, so it's only 6.3%. That relatively low share suggests paladins either die less frequently or aren't as numerous compared to some classes, because it's boring to play as a paladin, let's be honest. At least at the beginning. The average death level 14.4, implying they do quite well in early to mid game before hitting a surprise misstep. And of course the cool note, paladins still manage to die from fall damage. Some forget to bubble before jumping off cliffs. Turns out gravity is universal for it, and death from the fall damage in this game are the most. So now Priest. Priest channel Holy Light to heal or manipulate shadow magic to torment foes. They are the quintessential support class, but can also be formidable solars if played smartly, especially once they get a wand. Wands in World of Warcraft Classic, that's something different. Sorcerer ability, self-heals, power ward shield, and decent damage in shadow spec make them sturdier than many assume. Early leveling can be slow if you lack of wand, leading to constant drinking and riskier pulls. So it's kind of pain in the ass to play this class at the beginning. This class is ideal if you enjoy a methodical, mana-conscious playstyle and like the idea of healing yourself through the spots. Might feel plodding if you are impatient or crave massive burst damage. Total death is 31,000. It's around 9.8% of total. Priest sits around the middle, indicating they are stable, albeit not overly popular class. Average dose level is 15.6, which is fairly high. Once the priest survives the low levels, they often progress safely until a big mistake. And a cool note, the last words from the priest before they die. Be safe, homie. Now let's get heck out of here, lol. Ha, no problem, GG. And my favorite one, don't look at me. Ha! Shaman. Shamans are the elemental conduits of Azeroth, blending melee strikes with lightning bolts and a suite of totems that buffs allies or hinder foes. Their spiritual theme and connection to the elements provide a unique flavor, and the quest at the beginning also adding to that. It's a super cool class actually. Survivability is balanced. You can self-heal, and totems like Earthbind help control mobs, but you lack a true panic button, so a bad chain pull is still dangerous. Great if you love variety. One fight you are dropping a Searing Totem for extra DPS, the next you are healing yourself mid-melee. Toggling between offense and defense keeps leveling really fresh and interesting. As I said, really cool class. Total death is 14,667. It's only 4.1%. That's a relatively small portion, suggesting shamans might be less played or simply survive better than most. Average dose level 15.4. Similar to priests, they tend to handle the early game well, but can stumble on a tricky pulls later. And a cool note. Now, this dude, Gazus, for some reason for shamans, he's on the 3rd place on Deathlock. He's located in the back of the Skull Rock with his Void Walker minion. But the creepy thing, in the Skull Rock cave, he can be spawned anywhere. I don't know why it's shamans, but that's why they are dying from him. Because other classes, it's different. Everybody is dying from the Void Walkers, but nobody is dying from the Gazus himself. Watch your 6. Druids. Druids are shapeshifters, seamlessly switching between bear tanking, cat stealth, and healing spells. They are the guardians of the nature, equally comfortable prowling in the forest or unleashing natural wrath from afar. Survivability is solid. Bear form grants defensive heft, cat form offers a stealth escapes, and heals keep you topped up. Mistakes in form switching or forgetting to watch your mana can still prove fatal. Ideal if you love flexibility. Each form feels like a mini class of its own, so leveling never gets stale. And you know, juggling so many roles can be incredibly engaging if you're into this fantasy and lore. Total death are 29,000, which is 8.2%. Druids are fairly represented in the death log. Average death level 14.8. They handle the first dozen levels decently, but aren't immune to the mid-game challenges. And a cool note, drowning in aquatic form is a known hazard. Some forget to watch their breath or get stunned underwater, proving even nature's might can't save you from the bad misstep. And mages. That's my favorite ones. Mages command arcane, fire and frost spell, blasting enemies while wearing just a cloth armor. Conjuring free food and water is a godsend in hardcore, cutting down on downtime. And of course portals. This fantasy with the portals by mages and how it helps the party and yourself Ooh, portals are big. But the downsides, pull one more mob that you can handle, and you will remember just how squishy you are. Survivability. The Mages has strong crowd control, Polymorph and Frost Nova, and Blink can bail you out of the danger. A single resisted route, however, might doom you if you are swarmed by melee mobs. A fun factor here is really high if you enjoy risk, reward, devastating AoE or single target bursts, and it can feel amazing when you pull it off smoothly. Managing your position and cooldowns give you every encounter a strategic edge. Total death 50,000, which is 14.3%. Mages rank very high, hinting at both popularity and a knack of dying of spell fails. Still, average death level is 15.7, one of the highest averages. Likely to all this durability, crowd controls and burst damage that you can do. Really flexible class to play. And of course the cool note. So apparently mages are dying like flies from the rift spawn. This thing is living invisible in the Undercity in this point, and you need the Warlock's Detect of Invisibility to see them. But people really like to spawn Frost Nova when they are running on the errands and quests. And when you do this Frost Nova, these things will kill you in 2 shots, so be aware. Look at that, almost 500 mages died because of these things. And in hardcore, that's that. Rogue. Rogues thrive on stealth and backstabs, favoring quick ambushes over drawn-out battles. Leather armor won't save you from the big hits, but vanish, evasion and sprint can turn a nasty fight into a clean getaway, if you time them right. So survivability. You are squishy at the core, but stealth and escape tools offer unique safety if you are disciplined. Stealth also lets you bypass through packs, cutting down on potential suicide missions. Every pull can feel like mini heist. You are constantly weighing, can I take this mob before it takes me? High stakes and the big crits keep adrenaline junkie hooked. Total death is 54,000, 15.3%. This places Rogue near top of overall death. Really popular class. Average death level 14.0, really low, suggesting that some success in early levels, but frequent missteps in the teens. And a cool note, fall damage is a notorious Rogue killer. Stealth doesn't help if you leap off the cliff. And forget that there are no safety net mid-air. And the number one, the king, the champion, the warrior. Warriors go on ahead first. No pets, no bubbles, and no illusions. It's pure melee might, demanding discipline in every pull. You are living the unstoppable barbarian or stalwart knight fantasy. Just know that in hardcore, your margin of error is razor thin. In survivability, arguably the hardest class to keep alive without cautious play. No get out of the jail free card means each additional mob is a little risk. First aid, careful gearing and strategic usage of stances and abilities can make you a juggernaut once you survive the early gauntlet. The fun factor of the charts for those who want a constant sense of a danger. Reaching level 60 feels like an epic saga. If you hate planning or get reckless, expect to reroll often. Total death are 65,000, 18.5%, making warriors the single biggest contributor to the death logs. Average death level is really low, 13.8. Plenty of warriors never make it out from the early game, reflecting the brutal leveling curve. But the cool note is despite the daunting mortality rate, those who survive past level 30 often become unstoppable forces, living proof that high risk can equal high reward. Just look at these stats. The survivability rate of the warriors are increasing in super high doses till level 60. And I personally think because just people who playing warriors know what they're doing. Like you pick the hardest class, you know what you're doing, and that's why you're going till the end. So the conclusions are from safe and steady Hunters, Warlock and Paladin to pulse pounding Rogue and Warrior and Mage a little bit. Each WoW classic hardcore class tells a different tale of survival and skill. If you relish planning every fight, a Paladin or Priest might be your calling. If you want that I might die any second thrill, Warrior or Rogue is the way to go. And remember, these numbers don't lie. Classes with the higher death counts aren't necessarily worse, they're just riskier or more popular with the daredevils who might overextend. Pick the class that matches you better, from the fantasy, from the lore and from the fun factor. Because you will play this till the 60 in a slow pace for a long time. And that's why we like World of Warcraft Hardcore. I personally come back every year here just to play this game because it's chill, it is really interesting and it really rings the bell when you play this game for some time with the edge of hardcore. So my name is PLK, please comment below what do you think about the classes of WoW Hardcore. I was happy to see you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.